Hey guys, welcome to Colored News. Now we have this news about the former president of Nigeria. Although he's dead now, I think he died 2 years after he left office. So he died this year, 2025. Buhari. He was one of the most feared president ever. Well respected, yes. He was very well respected because he spoke less, right? He was kind of a president you hardly hear him speak. So even while he was president then, I was quite personally worried. I was always asking myself, why is it that we hardly hear this guy speak? So there were some reservations, and I don't think everything was just because of his character, but I think everything was as a result of what he was called to do. Like I think when he got into office, he realized that being a president of this country is not really a very simple job. So it is now that at least the daughter is confirming to us, giving us some reasons, some ideas why Buhari, the father, used to talk less. So the daughter, in a book recently released, said that Buhari believed that his conversations in the office was being tapped, like the Secret Service was always after his ass. So it was as if the house was bugged with the microphones that they were controlling him even as a president. So this is an account given by the daughter in the notebook, and this story is on Punch newspaper, which is the Nigeria's widely read newspaper. So the title of this article is Buhari suspected his Aso Villa office was bugged, daughter says. The daughter believed that the Aso Rock Villa was bugged. In other words, that he was being surveyed. I don't know by who, but let's read the article. It says Fatima Buhari, the daughter of the late former president Muhammadu Buhari, has said that her father at one point believed his office in the presidential villa was under secret surveillance. The disclosure is contained in a new book, From Soldier to Statesman: The Legacy of Muhammadu Buhari, written by the Director General of the Institute for Police and Security Policy Research, Dr. Charles Omole, and unveiled in Abuja on Monday. That was yesterday. Fatima in the book stated that the suspicion led her and her late father to communicate by writing notes rather than speaking. Wow. So because Buhari believed that the office was bugged, was being surveyed, the father stopped speaking and started communicating with the daughter through written notes. According to Fatima, there were occasions when Buhari felt conversations in his office were being monitored, prompting unusual precautions during their interactions. So imagine you can't even interact with your father freely because your father was afraid that he was being monitored even while in the presidential villa. Wow. She recalled one such meeting in which her father avoided speaking altogether and instead relied on gestures to communicate, signaling that they should write down their messages. He touched his cheek like he had a toothache and signaled that we shouldn't talk. He wrote notes to each other. We wrote notes to each other like spies in a film, she said. Wow, this is heartbreaking. Fatima said the former president believed listening devices had been planted in his office at the villa and warned her to remain cautious, noting that he himself was always on guard. The book describes the episode not as theatrics, but as a copy mechanism in an environment where trust was strained and privacy uncertain. More troubling, the account suggests, was Buhari's apparent resignation to the situation, despite his position as commander in chief. So apparently, Buhari just gave up. I think his age, I think his mobility problems and his health issues just couldn't make him do anything much about it. He didn't call his generals, he didn't call the DSS to say, I don't feel safe in my house anymore as the commander in chief. But he didn't do anything. So the daughter said he just gave up and just lived like that. Fatima questioned the level of influence wielded by those suspected of planting the devices, often referred to as the cabal, particularly as the alleged surveillance was said to have occurred within the highly secured presidential villa. Now, I remember this word, the cabal, and they said that they've hijacked the presidency. I think the wife also came out to say, yeah, my husband is no longer in charge of this Aso Rock. And that was when they started mentioning the word cabal. So the daughter is confirming almost the same thing now. Uh, yes, let's read on. The book further noted that some security chiefs who served under Buhari later confirmed that unusual objects were frequently discovered in the president's office and bedroom during routine security sweeps, though how such items found their way into the restricted areas remained unclear. Wow. Fatima described the atmosphere within the villa as deeply unsettling, at times bordering on what she called diabolical. Wow. We are Africans. We know supernatural power, she said, declining to collaborate or to elaborate on certain incidents and adding that some matters were best left to divine judgment. Oh my God. So they didn't feel at home even while they were in the presidential villa. According to the book, Buhari's personal disposition influenced how he handled such situations. Fatima said age and faith have softened him, making him less inclined to confront or publicly disgrace those around him, even when trust was compromised. So apparently, Buhari did not trust those who were working with him. He understands people's histories, their parents, their families, and he doesn't want to destroy hope, he said. She added that once Buhari placed his trust in someone, it was difficult for him to withdraw it without overwhelming proof, preferring quiet preferring quiet corrections and warnings to sacking or public humiliation. Fatima also disclosed that she lived in constant fear for her father's safety, saying there were moments when she believed attempts were made to harm him. Wow. There were attempts harm was done, but his time was not yet, she said, without providing further details. As part of measures to manage perceived threats, she said Buhari sometimes publicly reprimanded her to give the impression of distance, even though he would later reach out privately to assure her and her children. I cried in front of them, but deep inside, he would call me and the kids, she said. Wow, wow. This story is very disturbing. No wonder Buhari talked less because I've always wondered why this man could hardly talk. He didn't feel safe in the Aso Rock. Wow, wow.